first pitch, and it's away, down, and outside for ball one. 1-0. Felipe hitting .314, 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Leadoff man takes the next pitch, and that's a little high, ball 2. Joe Torre said before the ball game that Kuroda would be on a pitch count somewhere around 80 to 85 pitches. So we shall see. The 2-0 pitch on the way to Lopez, breaking ball, strike, and the count 2-1. For Lopez, he's had 18 multi-hit games. He had a 4-hit game against Florida, and he's done a very good job in the leadoff role. 2-1 pitch to Felipe is high, ball 3, 3-1. So Kuroda falling behind on the first batter. In fact, he had 2 rehab outings and really didn't pitch well in either one. 3-1 pitch is a high chopper up the middle. Castro behind the bag is up with it and throws him out. So let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. The outfield of Pierre, Kemp, and Eve here. The infield, Loretta, Castro, Hudson, and Loney. And the battery of Kuroda and Martin. Joe Torre talking about Casey Blake, saying he's ready to play, but he wants to give him at least another day off. So Casey came out to catch Sean Johnson's first throw, and now standing and watching with Brad Ausmus as Gerardo Parra takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Parra has been a rather remarkable player. If there is a runner on base on any of the 3 bases, Parra is hitting .552. He swings, hits a one-hopper to Orlando Hudson, and the second baseman takes care of him. So Parra grounds out, 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Justin Upton. Upton, who is coming up to the plate now, has had a marvelous month from the 24th of April until the 31st of May. Upton has hit .373. He has 50 hits over that stretch. His slugging percentage over 700. So he presents quite a threat as he checks in. Kuroda turns on the rubber, kicks and deals, drops the first one in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. Upton, a multi-talented ball player, and in looking back in his battles with Kuroda, Upton is 2 for 3. The strike one pitch fouled away into the Dodger dugout down by the photographer's well, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. So the D-backs arriving here, among other things, they have tried to run their way to success. They stole 28 bases in the month of May. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up to Justin Upton. Kuroda delivers high, ball 1, 1-2 the count. A.J. Finch, the young 35-year-old manager. A.J. Andrew J. Hinch by name, a Stanford boy, took over for Bob Melvin, and the pitch outside, and the count runs to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Interesting, in reading the background of A.J. Hinch as a player, they constantly talk not so much about his abilities with the glove or bat. They talked about his mental prowess, and here he is, a young skipper. 2-2 pitch is off the plate, ball 3. If you think 35 is young, the youngest manager that we could think of was Bucky Harris, that took over the Washington Senators way back in 1924. Harris was 27 years old when he ran the Major League club. 3-2 pitch is strike 3 called, and Upton heralds his hat and Bellman away and walks away from home plate. A 1-2-3 inning. Welcome back, Hiroki Kuroda, and the Diamondbacks fail to score. Hiroki Kuroda returns to the mound and made only 13 pitches. Let's take a look now at the Dodgers. They check their luggage for the homestand. Juan Pierre in left field, followed by Mark Loretta at third base. Orlando Hudson at second, and James Loney hits cleanup first base. Russell Martin behind the plate. Andre Ethier in right field. Matt Kemp in center. Juan Castro playing for Rafael Furcal, and the pitcher Hiroki Kuroda. On the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Billy Buckner out of Georgia, born in Decatur, lives in Conyers, went to the University of South Carolina, and was originally selected by the Kansas City Royals. And his first pitch to Juan Pierre in for a strike. Pierre hit a dazzling .374 with 20 runs batted in. Buckner comes right back 0-1, and it's fouled away. 0-2 the count. Buckner grew up a Braves fan and was a big fan particularly of Chipper Jones. And you know, Chipper always tucked his pants in at the knee. Strike two pitch, high bouncer over the mound. Coming up with it on the great circle route is Felipe Lopez to throw out Pierre. So Pierre grounding out, one away, and the batter will be Loretta. But let's set the D-backs defensively. Para, Young, and Upton in the outfield. Reynolds, Drew, Lopez, and Whitesell on the infield, and the battery of Buckner and Montero. So one away, Mark Loretta coming up. One of the many secrets for the Dodgers this year is the remarkable performance of the so-called backup players. And the first pitch to Loretta off the plate, ball one. I mean, you have Mark Loretta playing at third when need be, or second, and he's hitting .321. You have Juan Pierre, who was supposed to be a backup outfielder, who's been dazzling. You have Brad Osmus, the backup for Russell Martin, and he's hitting .344. And then you have Juan Castro, who is backing up Rafael Furcal, and Castro is hitting .357. Rather shocking numbers. 2-0 pitch on the way to Mark Loretta. That's in for a strike, and the count 2-1. One thing, you know how they talk about the tail of the tape when there's a big fight. Well, when you have Arizona and the Dodgers, the tail of what one team does at home and one team does on the road is pretty shocking. High fly ball to right field. Waiting for it to come down as Upton makes the catch for the out. And just like that, 2 down in the first inning. The Dodgers at home as a team hitting .303. The Diamondbacks on the road where they're break even, they're hitting .214. So for A.J. Hinch, no wonder they have stolen 28 bases in May. He is trying to go to the whip to get them moving. And of course the D-backs are last, well, 29th in the major leagues in batting with runners in scoring position. They're hitting only .229. So here now with 2 down is Orlando Hudson, and the O-Dog fouls it back in the count 0-1. For Hudson, he's had 21 multi-hit games. His multi-hit games would be second to Miguel Tejada, and he's just been remarkable, hitting .332, 3 home runs, 31 runs batted in. And the pitch a little low to even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Orlando Hudson checking in and more than holding his own, not only against his old club Arizona. Takes the next one low and inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Dodgers begin the night 12.5 games in front of Arizona, 8.5 in front of the Giants. Buckner looks down the barrel to get a sign. The 2-1 pitch on the way, fastball in there, and the count 2-2. For Billy Buckner, well, a fastball. His curveball is different. It is a knuckle curve. He has a slider and a changeup. 2-2 pitch on the way is just low, ball 3. Billy said that his father taught him the curveball and taught him to spike it with his knuckle. And that's the only curveball he's ever really thrown. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball grounded to the right side. In front of it is Lopez to make the play. So the Dodgers go quickly. And we have 1 inning in the books in the first game of the series. The D-backs nothing and the Dodgers nothing. Cut. And of course, Rick and his wife Debbie are celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary. So much love and heartiest congratulations to them both. Rick doing his job in the dugout. Debbie, I'm sure, getting a little sugar from their grandson. Second inning, no score in the ball game, and Kuroda works a pitch away. 1 ball and no strikes to Stephen Drew, who has a little 6-game hitting streak. Drew hitting .211, 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Kuroda works quickly, comes right back, and he's a little high. So they count 2 balls and no strikes. The starting pitchers matched each other, each man making 13 pitches in the first inning. Drew waiting. The left-hand hitting shortstop takes a look at another pitch for a strike, and they count 2-1. Stephen, of course, the younger brother of J.D. Drew, both from Hahira, Georgia. Now the 2-1 pitch coming up. And Stephen swings, hits a high drive into deep right center. Ethier and Kemp converging on the warning track, and the ball's going to go off the wall. Kemp gets it back in, and Stephen Drew has himself a stand-up double, a shot into the gap in deep right center field. And for Drew, he is now hit safely in 7 straight. Arizona is coming out of the offensive doldrums of late. And among other things, every time you look up, they come up with an extra base hit. So they've had an extra base hit in every game they've played. They have 172 extra base hits, and at least 1 in every game. So here it is. So now here comes Mark Reynolds, and we were talking before about Kuroda and Reynolds. Mark, among other things, is a feast or famine hitter, a pickoff play, and they got Drew. Juan Castro darting to the bag, and Drew is nailed. Second base umpire Angel Campos there to call it, and Drew comes off the field. So as quick as a cat, Castro cuts in behind him to the bag. Kuroda, good throw, and a quick tag on the right hand by Castro, and that'll do it for Stephen Drew. So a big play, 1-6, and 1 away. So Drew, sadder and a little bit wiser, back in the dugout. Reynolds fouls a pitch away, and the count 0-1. We were saying that Mark Reynolds is a feast or famine hitter. He has 13 home runs. He has 30 runs batted in, and he is #1 in strikeouts. He has struck out 70 times. The strike one pitch is off the plate. He struck out over 200 times last year. So Reynolds is just 1 for 10 in the past against Kuroda. Hiroki ready. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball up and away, ball 2, and a 2-1 count. The first 34 games this year, Reynolds, who as we mentioned strikes out a ton, for the first 34 games he hit .240. Since then he's been hitting at a .322 clip with 15 RBIs and 11 extra base hits, including 5 of the 13 home runs. So Reynolds is starting to come alive. 2-2 the count to Mark. Waiting on deck back of him is the catcher Miguel Montero. No score. We're just starting. Top of the second inning. 66 degrees when the game started. 2-2 pitch on the way is a little high. Ball 3, 3-2. So Kuroda made 13 pitches, gives up a double, picks off the man. And here is Reynolds, who has walked 24 times along with those 70 Ks. 3-2 pitch is high and inside, almost hitting, and ball 4. The Mark Reynolds, thank goodness, gets out of the way of it, draws the walk, and the batter will be Miguel Montero. Fastball shoulder high, and it was just boring in on him, and Reynolds hanging in there till the very last second, and then just did get out of the way. So with a runner at first on the heels of a double, it could be a rally, but it's not. And here is Montero. The D-backs offense over the last 9 games has done very well. Kuroda set at the belt, looks over at first at Reynolds, now ready to work to the left-hand hitting catcher Miguel Montero, and decides to throw over to first. Reynolds has stolen 10 bases. He's stolen 10 out of 13. Kuroda turns, looks back over to first. Now Hiroki is ready, and the right-handed delivers a little high, ball one. Certainly for a man who pitched in the big leagues way back in April and not then until tonight, you figure he has to be rusty to say the least. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Martin shuffling his cards behind the plate. Another look over at Reynolds, and the pitch at the plate off the outside, dropped by Martin. 2 balls and no strikes. Dodgers concluding a merry month of May. They were 20-9 in the month of May. Although after May, down through the years, the Dodgers have struggled in June. Maybe June is busting out all over, but that's not the way the Dodgers have reacted over the years after posting very good Mays. In fact, the Dodgers have not had a winning record in June since 2003. Kuroda set at the belt. A backward glance. Reynolds a cautious lead, and then Kuroda off the rubber. So Hiroki, you can already see the perspiration on his face. Right-hander set at the belt. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way. Montero takes outside, ball 3. So each time Kuroda misses, it makes that Drew pickoff even bigger. So a runner at first, 1 out. On deck, Chris Young. Now the 3-0 pitch coming up to Miguel Montero, and Kuroda works a fastball down the pipe, and the count 3-1. So Miguel Montero with Chris Snyder alternating behind the plate, and it's Montero's turn tonight. He's from Caracas in Venezuela. We'll see what Reynolds does on a 3-1 count with 1 out. He is not going, and the pitch is a check swing foul off to the left of the plate, and the count runs 3-2. So Hiroki Kuroda returning to the Dodger lineup. Might take him a little while to get back to his form, but the Dodgers figure to be so much stronger when he picks up the slack. Dodgers with a great record of 35-17. Now we'll watch Reynolds. Full count, he goes. The 1-out pitch is high for ball 4, and now that pickoff play at second is huge. Instead of the bases loaded and nobody out, you have 2 on, 1 out, and Chris Young coming up. And again, as we mentioned, we'll have an idea of Kuroda if he is sharp, because Chris Young is hitting 182 against him, 2-for-11. Young also arrives here struggling a bit offensively. On the road, he's hitting less than 100, and overall hitting just 178. His batting average on the road is .094. Right-hander has a look at his strike. He has 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. Last 3 road games, Young is 3-for-11. 0-1 the count. Kuroda in a slight jam here with 1 out. The right-hander comes back. Check swing. They'll look. No swing, says C.B. Buckner. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Chris Young, without a doubt, a multi-talented ball player. You may remember 2 years ago, he hit 30 home runs and stole 20 bases. The only other rookie to do that was Nomar Garciaparra back in 1997. So Chris waiting. Kuroda set. Hiroki delivers. Breaking ball, little slider off the plate, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Young is only 25. He'll be 26 in September. He went from 32 home runs to 22, but however, from 68 RBIs to 85 in the last 2 years. 2-1 pitch coming up to Chris Young. Kuroda checks to the bag, goes Hudson. It doesn't work this time. So it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Chris Young maybe not struggling like Reynolds with the strikeout, but he has walked 8 times and he has struck out 47 times. And with runners in scoring position, the Diamondbacks, as we mentioned, 29th in the major leagues, hitting only .229. Last 6 games they perked up and have hit .400. So here's the 2-1 pitch coming up. Kuroda ready, over the top, and that's in for a strike, and the count 2-2. For the D-backs, Chris Young, with runners in scoring position, is batting 147. Stephen Drew batting 194. Felipe Lopez batting 148. So you wonder why they're 12.5 back. All right, 2-2 the count to Chris Young, right-hand hitter. Kuroda set. Young at 6-2 gives you a pretty good strike zone. Now Kuroda works the hitter, and it is foul back. So it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the second inning, no score. Stephen Drew short hopped the wall in right center for a long double, and the Dodgers promptly picked him off when Kuroda fired to Juan Castro. Then Reynolds and Montero walked, so that was a big out at second base. Still 2-2 the count to Chris Young. Josh Whitesell on deck, and the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda ready, here he comes, swung on and missed. So down goes Chris Young. His struggles continue both on the road and with men on. And the batter now will be Josh Whitesell. As we take a look, the pitch that got Young was way off the plate. So we have 2 down here in the second inning, and the batter will be Josh Whitesell. First time we have seen him. He's hitting .107, 3 for 28. So Kuroda trying to get out of the jam now. Comes to the left-hand hitter who swings and doesn't get it. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. So Josh Whitesell, they say he is a fair defensive first baseman. He's out of Durham, North Carolina. Went to school at Loyola Marymount here. Makes his home in Redlands. And Josh, 6'1", 220, 26 years old. At second base, you have Mark Reynolds. At first, Miguel Montero with 2 out. The strike 1 pitch coming up. Kuroda delivers and drops it a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year, Whitesell was at Tucson and hit .328. He had 26 home runs, 110 runs batted in. So they called him up at the very end of the year. And in 7 games, he hit .286. 1-1 pitch coming up. Kuroda delivers, and that's a little high. So he's making a lot of pitches in the inning, and Martin going out to talk to him. This is a 25-pitch inning, which means he has made 38 pitches already. And remember, the pitch count on him is somewhere between 80 and 85. So Josh Whitesell facing Hiroki Kuroda. Whitesell was originally drafted by the Expos, and the D-backs claimed him off waivers from the Washington Nationals. The Whitesell waiting, 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Out of a stretch goes Kuroda. Josh Whitesell waiting in the 2-1 pitch, and that's taken for a strike. Quite a few years ago, when he was a freshman at Loyola Marymount, he suffered a fractured vertebrae. He was a passenger in a car wreck during a morning ride to a summer league baseball game. So he's had his problems. Deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away. Still 2-2. Just to complicate his young life, a year after recovering from the car accident, Josh suffered a torn labrum. He had to have surgery. 2 years ago, he was on the DL for a while. And then last year, he missed several games because of a strain in the buttocks. So Josh Whitesell, the pride of Redlands, The 2-2 pitch on the way. Josh fouls it back. So Kuroda about halfway to his pitch count now. After a 13-pitch first inning, he's walked 2, given up a double, but no runs, and the count 2-2 for Honeycutt. Not thinking of his anniversary right now. He's sweating out Kuroda. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up, and Hiroki delivers low with a fastball. Ball 3. The 3-2 the count. Dodger pitching has been brilliant here at Dodger Stadium. In fact, the staff has an ERA of 3 here at home. For Kuroda, he has made 13 pitches in the first inning, and this pitch will be his 30th to give him 43 as Billingsley, along with Randy Wolf, Eric Milden taking in the game. 3-2, runners go, and a line drive into right field, base hit. Having to chase it to the bullpen gate is Ethier, who falls down. 2 runs will score as the rage from Redland, Josh Whitesell, doubles into the right field corner, and Arizona is on the board 2-0. Wouldn't have made any difference whether Ethier had fallen down or not. With 2 out going on a 3-2 pitch, both runners would have scored anyway. So Arizona jumps out in front, and the Dodgers find themselves in an awkward position. Normally it's the Dodgers who jump out in front. I'm sure if you've been following the ball club, you know they've scored over 50 runs in the first inning this year. But Whitesell with his double gets the D-backs on the board. And remember, they're trying to snap a 7-game losing streak here at Dodger Stadium. They haven't won a game here since August 1st of 2008. So they have a new man at the helm in A.J. Hinch, and they have a new first baseman by the name of Whitesell, who was just doubled in 2. So the D-backs take a 2-0 lead, and here's Billy Buckner, right-hand batter. Hiroki ready and deals, fastball low. That's been the thing. He's been pitching behind to just about all the hitters, but again, with such a layoff since April the 6th, you don't expect him to go out there and throw a lot of strikes. Here's pitch number 45, and it's swung on. Little ground ball wide at third. On it there is Loretta to take care of it, and that's that. 2 doubles and 2 walks, netting the Arizona Diamondbacks 2 runs. And at the end of an inning and a half, 2-0 Arizona. In the second inning, not only did he make 32 pitches, he's had 5 3-ball counts, including, remember, 3-2 to Whitesell. So the runners were going, and his double easily scored Reynolds and Montero. So after 45 pitches, Hiroki, a well-deserved rest in the dugout, and the Dodgers trying to come back now, spotting Arizona 2 early. Bottom of the second inning, James Loney, Russell Martin, and then Andre Ethier against Billy Buckner. For the Dodgers, Russell Martin has done a complete turnaround. So we'll see how that factors in as James Loney will lead off the inning. Loney hitting .289. He has 2 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Loney on the recently concluded road trip, which ended last night in Chicago. He had .323. He had a good road trip, 10 for 31, and he had an 11-game hitting streak, and that was snapped Friday night in Wrigley Field. So Loney will start the inning. Buckner ready and delivers, and the first one a high strike up around the letters, and the count 0-1. Loney has been on a tear of late, hitting in 16 of 19. Hits a little late and fouls a pitch away deep in the lower deck off third, and the count 0-2. So Loney, Martin, and Ethier in that order. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up. Buckner delivers low and at the feet, ball 1. 1-2 the count. James Loney is the big man, the butter and egg man. He leads the club in runs batted in with 38. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. James has a look, and that misses. 2-2 the count. Another thing about Loney, he has always had a good eye at the plate. He has as many walks as strikeouts. His books are balanced at 21. He hits a little ground ball to the right side. Lopez has been busy and gets his third man, and we have 1 out in the second inning. You know, a reminder, Friday night fireworks after the Dodgers and Phillies, and you're invited on the field after the game for a spectacular show set to the soundtrack of the 80s during I Love the 80s night. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. Russell Martin checking in at the plate. In May, well, let's put it the other way. First, we'll look at what he did in April. The pitch to Russell, a strike, and the count 0-1. He hit .205 in April. In May, he hit .330. 20 RBIs. Catcher takes another strike, and the count 0-2. Waiting his turn on deck, Andre Ethier. So Russell overall batting .272 with his 20 runs batted in. Buckner, both feet on the rubber, hangs 10 as he looks in to get a sign. Now deals down and away, ball 1. 1-2 the count. Arizona with 2 in the second inning. 2-0 in favor of the D-backs, and the boy from Georgia, Billy Buckner, delivers. Fastball pulled back at third. Diving stop by Mark Reynolds on his knees, throws him out. A highlight play by Mark Reynolds, the third baseman for Arizona, taking an extra base hit away from Russell Martin. So Reynolds moving towards the line on the pitch and made the play. Had he not moved over just before the pitch was made, that's down the line. So a fine heads-up play by Mark Reynolds, a third baseman, and we have 2 out, and Andre Ethier checking in. Ethier, left-hand hitter, has a look at the first one, and that's low, ball 1. Watch, you can see just before the pitch, Reynolds moved to his right, and that was the difference. No doubt he was able to look in, get the pitch that was coming up, and made a heads-up play. The pitch to Ethier in for a strike, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Andre Ethier, for the last couple of weeks, has been struggling, hitting just .171. So that's knocked his batting average down to .256. Remember, before that bad stretch, he was hitting .317. So Andre waiting, 2-1 to count. 2 down, second inning, 2-0 D-backs. Next pitch a strike, and the count 2-2. Buckner, thanks to Chipper Jones, wearing those pants tucked in right at the knees, And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. It gets away from Montero. Ethier on his way to first, and Montero throws him out. So Andre Ethier strikes out, and Montero made a heck of a play to go that far to retrieve the ball and nail Ethier. And at the end of 2-0, Arizona. Diamondbacks leading the Dodgers 2-0. Top of the order now for Arizona. Felipe Lopez, Gerardo Parra, and then Justin Upton. We'll see about Kuroda now after a tough inning, and right away he's ball one to Felipe Lopez. We don't want to exploit Felipe Lopez in any way, but it's such an important message to pass along. When he was a little kid in Puerto Rico, if he made errors on the baseball field, his father used to beat him. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and hit foul out of play. So I think we're bringing that up only to caution, because we've all seen it. Certain parents who just get totally carried away with their little kids playing a child's game. So Felipe, who is 29 years old, left-hand hitter waiting, but he can also switch and bat right-handed. The 1-2 pitch, and Felipe takes strike three call. So Kuroda takes care of Lopez. That would be strikeout number 3. And the batter will be the rather surprising Gerardo Parra. So Lopez caught looking, pays the price, and down he goes. So now Parra, not a big man by any way, but he's been swinging a big bat, hitting .314. He takes inside, ball 1-0. Parra is from Santa Barbara del Zulia in the Dominican Republic. Left-handed all the way, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. He runs up to bunt, but takes high. 2 balls and no strikes. For Parra, he lit up the Dominican Summer League a couple of years ago. His first year as a pro, he hit .384, and he caught the attention of everybody. 2-0 pitch fouled away, and the count 2-1. Parra, as we mentioned earlier, if there's a runner on base, he is a remarkable hitter. Any of the 3 bases, he's hit .552 with runners on. The 2-1 pitch, and that's high, so there goes Kuroda. Remember, he's had 5 3-ball counts. Now he goes to a 6th man with a 3-ball count, and it's tough. With runners in scoring position, Parra is hitting .706, and he takes ball 4, and that would be the 3rd walk given up by Hiroki Kuroda. So it is really just about what you would expect. I mean, a right-hander who, when he's on the beam, has great control, but it's obvious he hadn't pitched since April the 6th, really. So with a runner at first and one out, here is Justin Upton, who struck out in the first inning. Upton, kind of a spread eagle stance at the plate, right-hand batter. Kuroda works fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Justin Upton has a connection to my boyhood idol Mel Ott and to the great Willie Mays. Tell you about it in a minute. 0-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Kuroda, and the next one is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Upton last year homered in 3 straight games, becoming only the 4th player in Major League history to homer in 3 straight at the age of 20 or younger. He was 20 at the time. Who are the others? Jimmy Sheckard of the old Brooklyn Dodgers. Melvin Ott did it twice in 1929, and Willie Mays for the Giants in 1951. So Justin Upton, who is really just starting out in his career, imagine having your name already linked to Mel Ott and Willie Mays. Upton will be 22 in August. And the pitch is a ground ball to short. Castro, the quick feed to Hudson. He'll turn it for 2, and that's the inning. So Upton grounds into the double play, 6-4-3. And at the end of 2.5 innings, 2-0 Arizona. Down 2-0, but he was rather impressive in the 3rd inning, getting that double play ball off the bat of Justin Upton. The pitch count now, he's made 57 pitches, so if Joe Torre is going to stay with that 80 to 85 pitch count, he's getting closer and closer. Meanwhile, Dodgers are trying to get closer and closer. Bottom of the 3rd, Kemp, Castro, and Kuroda, with Arizona leading 2-0. First pitch to Matt, breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Kemp has hit safely in 11 of his last 12 and had a great road trip. Hit .407 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, takes a pitch low. So Kemp returns hitting .306 with a half a dozen home runs and 30 runs batted in. Now the 1-1 pitch, and Matt swings and whacks it fair down inside the left field foul line, curling its way around the box seats, and Kemp goes steaming into second base with his 9th double of the year. Boy, he is. Got a pitch just about at the belt, and he was all over it. So Matt Kemp a double into the left field corner, and with nobody out, Castro, Kuroda, and Pierre trying to pick him up. With Castro playing, you might wonder about Rafael Furcal, but Joe Torre said before the ballgame, Furcal is fine, but after the long plane ride and the short night's sleep, we thought it'd be good to rest him. So here is Juan as Furcal spectates for this evening, and Castro tries to go the other way, fouls it off first base and back into the stand. 0-1 the count. Juan Castro hitting a rather surprising .357 with 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. On deck, Hiroki Kuroda. Buckner out of a stretch, leading 2-0. Right-hander's fastball is in there. 0-2 the count to Castro. Juan making his 11th start, and the Dodgers are 7-3 in his starts. Castro hit .375 on the road trip. Right-hand batter waiting, and the strike 2 pitch coming up. Buckner delivers, fastball on the hands, pulled to the hole. Nice play by Reynolds to hold the runner and throw him out. So Castro grounding to Mark Reynolds. 1 away here in the 3rd, and the batter will be Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda doesn't figure to present a threat to Billy Buckner. He's had only 2 at-bats way back on the 6th of April. But the old story, you never know as he checks in. Reynolds came up at the edge of the grass at 3rd. The pitch to Hiroki is beaten foul into the dirt around the plate, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Don't forget, Arizona will be here for a 3-game series tomorrow night and Wednesday night, and then the champion Phillies Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday night. Strike 1 pitch coming up. Out of a stretch goes Buckner, drops that big overhand curveball for a strike, and the count 0-2. So Billy Buckner, no relation, of course, to the Dodgers, who wound up with the Cubs and the Red Sox. Buckner a high set. Now the strike 2 pitch. Instead he turns and looks Kemp back to the bag. Buckner went from junior college and transferred to University of South Carolina because they'd been to the College World Series the previous 3 years. So he went there. Darned it, they didn't go again. Kuroda fouls it away. The Hiroki is still there. 0-2. And thinking back over his college days and the College World Series, Buckner said, that's the most fun I've ever had playing any sport. A lot different grinding it out as a professional. The Diamondbacks got him. They sent Alberto Calaspi to the Royals. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Buckner said, looks back at Kemp. Now the pitch is fouled away. For Matt Kemp, who does so many things so well. I mean, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs, hitting over 300. He has also stolen 12 out of 14. And even though the pitcher is at the plate, Mark Reynolds plays pretty deep at 3rd base. You have Juan Pierre on deck. Buckner on and off the rubber. Now he's back on again. Kuroda with the meat end of the bat pointing towards the ground on his right shoulder. And now the catcher, Miguel Montero, wants to go out and talk to him. So timeout for the moment. So Buckner first talking to Montero, then talking to Stephen Drew. And now Billy trying to collect himself, and Kuroda trying to make him work. No balls and 2 strikes the count. 2-0 Arizona. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Kemp at 2nd, and a fastball is chased and missed, picked up out of the dirt, and Montero throws him out. So Kemp led off with a double, and he is still there. 2 out. Pierre coming up. You know, Saturday Dodger Town will have a home with its very own zip code. That's right, 90090. And in celebration, the Dodgers are offering $90,099 seats. on this homestand with the D-backs, the Phillies, and the Padres. So visit Dodgers.com/eSavers. Enter the promo code Hudson13. Juan Pierre with a runner at second and 2 down, trying to pick him up. Pierre hit .333 with 7 RBIs on the road trip. Struck out 3 times last night, which was absolutely shocking. And the first pitch a little low, ball 1. Since May the 7th, all Pierre has done is hit .380. 15 extra base hits. I mean, he's just been on a tear. So Pierre waiting, 1 ball and no strikes. Buckner looks back at Kemp. Now it comes back to Pierre, who beats it foul into the ground. 1 ball and 1 strike. So where Reynolds played deep with Kuroda at the plate, he is now shortened up, even but wide of the bag at third, with Pierre looking bunt, and on deck Mark Loretta. Pierre starting his 24th game in left field. Now the 1-1 pitch coming up. Buckner watching a dancing and moving Kemp, and the pitch is low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now Mark Reynolds is asking for time. He wants to go to the mound. One of the things they're trying to do is shorten Matt Kemp's lead. Stephen Drew came to the mound and no doubt said, okay, I'm going to try and bird dog him a little bit. Pierre, of course, if he slaps it the other way, makes it virtually impossible for the shortstop to come back and get him. So Drew can't really give Kemp that bad a time now. But Reynolds is up even with the bag at third, and Juan hits a slow roller over the mound. Here comes Drew in a hurry, throws too late. So that was the point we were trying to make. Once the shortstop Drew was playing where he was, if Pierre hits one in that area, it's virtually impossible to come back and get him. And Drew tried to do it. It just eluded the effort of Buckner, and they throw on a bounce, not in time. So the Dodgers now, thanks to the infield single on the ball hit at short, have first and third. Tying runs are out there, and Mark Loretta coming up. Now Pierre could very well put extra pressure on Buckner just by his presence at first. Juan has also stolen 10 out of 14. So Loretta waiting at the plate. Runners at the corners, and Loretta takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Mark Loretta filling in for Casey Blake, 3rd straight. Had a good night last night against the Cubs, and he's had a wonderful time as a pinch hitter. Strike 1, pitch in the dirt, scrambling block by Montero, which reminds us to look it up. And Billy Buckner, maybe with that knuckle curveball, whatever, he has 3 wild pitches. Arizona 2, Dodgers nothing, 2 out, bottom of the 3rd. Dodgers have runners at first at 3rd, with Pierre at first and Kemp coming down the line from 3rd. Loretta trying to pick somebody up, hitting .315 overall. Buckner ready, comes to the plate and gets it on the inside corner. Boy, that was $1 million pitch, and a 1-2 count. Loretta doesn't argue, but he just kind of walks away from the plate. Brian Gorman is the plate umpire, and Gorman in his 18th year behind the plate. Brian and his father Tom made up the only father-son umpire combo to work home plate at the same park in World Series. I'll tell you more about it if we have the chance. 1-2 the count to Mark Loretta. 2-0 Arizona. There goes Pierre, the pitch in the dirt, a fake throw by Montero. So Pierre steals second, and now the Dodgers have runners at second and third, and a 2-2 count to Loretta. Tom Gorman, Brian's father, worked home plate in games 1 and 7 of the 1968 World Series at Busch Stadium, and then Brian had the honors of working game 3 in the 2004 World Series in the same park. Father and son, what a combination. 2-2 the count to Mark Loretta. Here comes Buckner. Fastball hit the right center, but playable. Young almost misjudged it, but corrects and makes the catch. So that now you got a single and a double and fail to come up with a run. And at the end of 3, 2-0, Arizona. Year, the LA Dodgers had the best record in baseball over a full season. As you probably know, they have the best record right now, 35-17. Well, we'll give you the answer in a little while. Meanwhile, Stephen Drew, Mark Reynolds, and Miguel Montero coming up. Hiroki has made 57 pitches in 3 innings. Stephen Drew doubled in the 2nd inning to extend his hitting streak to 7, and then Kuroda and Castro promptly hung him out to dry at second base. Strike. Stephen Drew last year became the 3rd shortstop in history to have at least 40 doubles, 10 triples, and 20 home runs. A remarkable set of figures. Who are the other 2? Robin Yount did it twice for Milwaukee. Nomar Garciaparra did it for Boston. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's a 1-hopper into right field. So Stephen Drew is 2 for 2. And the batter will be Reynolds. 2 runs and 3 hits, along with 3 walks given up. Mark Reynolds walked in the 2nd inning. Last year, 28 home runs, 97 RBIs, but he certainly pays a price. And we'll see about what happens now. Foul back, out of play. 0-1 the count to Mark Reynolds. Made a dazzling play earlier on a ball hit by Russell Martin, and then walked and scored a run in the 2nd inning. Mark Reynolds out of Pikeville, Kentucky. He had a dreadful time 2 years ago. Of course, it's just one of those things. He's going to strike out. He has 13 home runs, 30 RBIs, however. 1-1. 2 years ago, Mark Reynolds tied the all-time record for strikeouts in consecutive plate appearances. He struck out 9 consecutive times. But again, he means so much. He's the sock. Good fastball, 1-2. Reynolds 25, he'd be 26 in August, and this would be his 3rd year with the Diamondbacks. Went to the University of Virginia. Two and two the count. When he was at the University of Virginia, Mark Reynolds played shortstop because the third baseman was Ryan Zimmerman. Understandable. Two and two. Fastball fouled off. For Reynolds, he has represented the United States in 6 different events. Team USA in Cuba, that's where the qualifying tournament was in Havana. Broke in with a bang, his second major league at bat. He hit the 413-foot sign in center field at Coors to drive in a couple. Fouls it away. Still 2 and 2. That was his second major league at bat. Reynolds is 6'1", about 200 pounds. Two and two. And down he goes. So for Reynolds, walking back to the dugout is not exactly a new experience. And the batter will be Miguel Montero. Montero drew a walk in the second inning. Big left-hand hitting catcher came around to score a run from first on the double by Whitesell. He was going on a 3-2 pitch. And ball one. That's the thing for Kuroda tonight. He's been unable to get a jump on the hitter. And he's certainly unaccustomed to that because control has always been a strong part of his game. 1 ball and no strikes. And he's behind again, 2-0. We'll repeat, Joe Torre said Hiroki would be somewhere between 80 and 85 pitches, and he's ready to make his 70th here in the 4th inning. Joe watching, counting, and the 2-0 pitch. Fly ball into left center. Pierre is moving in and over to put it away. So 2 down, and Chris Young will be coming up.
Center fielder Chris Young.
Chris Young, who is really struggling, but the D-backs are staying with him. Struck out in the second inning, and we told you that he has not hit at all on the road. Less than 100. 3 for his last 12. Last year, despite striking out a lot, he did hit 22 home runs. He hit 32 the year before. Stephen Drew at first with 2 down. Drew does not have a stolen base. Pretty tough to put on a play with a hitter like Young, who is struggling so much. In the dirt, nice block by Martin. But again, you know, when you have a ball club struggling, the manager wants to do something to shake loose. And so in the month of May, Hinch had the D-backs steal 28 bases. Drew at first without a stolen base. 2 down, 4th inning. Arizona leads 2-0. That's a strike. 1-1. Young and Loney. We've talked about it. Young went to Bellaire High School. Loney went to Lawrence Elkins High School. They had a playoff. Loney hit a ball and Young collided with a teammate and broke his arm. Then Loney is pitching and Young got a base hit against Loney. And now here they are, neither one pitching. One's playing first and the other's in center field. They say that when Young was in high school, he wasn't even an everyday player until his senior season. 1-2. Well, he struck out 165 times last year, 141 times the year before. He was eventually drafted by the White Sox. When Young collided with his teammate, he shattered both the radius and the ulna bones in his left wrist. They really worried about his future as a professional athlete. There goes the runner, Drew, and it's strike 3 call. Chris Young strikes out a second time. Kuroda strikes out 2 in the inning, and at the end of 3 1/2, D-backs 2, Dodgers nothing. D-backs trying to hold on to a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Orlando Hudson, James Loney, and then Russell Martin in that order. Tomorrow night, Randy Wolf and Dan Harron. And the concluding game, it'll be Chad Billingsley and John Garland. And then here come the Phils with the first game of the series featuring Cole Hamels, who is the MVP against the Dodgers. Hudson grounded out in the first inning, hitting .330, and ball 1. Orlando 8th in the league when he came in, hitting .332. He had that 17-game hitting streak snapped, and he wails on one to right field, down the line, off the base of the wall. Nicely played out there in right field, but into second base goes Hudson. Justin Upton played that very well and made it reasonably close. So Hudson almost hit a home run, and he'll settle halfway with a double. Hudson, by the way, has 3 home runs. So right down the line and right at the wall, maybe 6 inches from the top of the wall. Good effort by Upton. So the Dodgers come up with their 3rd hit, their 2nd double. They had a leadoff double by Matt Kemp in the 3rd inning, but they could not get him home. 2 runs, 3 hits for the D-backs. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And a strike to James Loney. So James with 38 runs batted in, the club leader. Last 18 games, 17 ribbies. And ground ball up the middle. Up with it there is Drew to get him, and on the play, Hudson takes third. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about the LA Dodger record. What year was it? The LA Dodgers had the best record in baseball over a full season. And if you have a good memory bank, you'll remember they won 102 games in 1974. And then, as they say on Broadway, how'd you come out? They lost to Oakland. But then again, there was 1988. That's a strike. The Brooklyn Dodgers, by the way, had the best record in baseball 5 times. 1916, 1949, 1952, 1953, and 1955. That's a strike. Interesting, in the World Series, they lost the first 4 and then finally beat the Yankees in 55. 0-2 to Martin. 1 out. 2-0 Arizona. Wow, that was heading for the backstop. 1-2 the count. Buckner with 3 wild pitches. So with a runner at third, he has to be very careful. One and 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Billy Buckner 1-1. No record against the Dodgers. Hudson at third with 1 out. Martin robbed of an extra base hit by Mark Reynolds in the second inning. Line drive. Whoa, there's Reynolds again. He short hopped it to throw him out. And of course, Hudson in no place to go. Oh, Mark Reynolds has stolen 2 plays as far as Russell Martin is concerned. Wow. Magnificent. A sinking line drive. He short hopped it and then gets up and makes the play. And former teammate Orlando Hudson goes over and gives him a little nudge. 2 dazzling plays by Mark Reynolds. So when you play as well as he does, when you have the power and a great glove, they'll take 200 strikeouts. Ethier takes a strike. 0-1. 2 runs, 3 hits for Arizona. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers, basically because of Mark Reynolds. 1-1. Andre struck out in the second inning, pitch in the dirt. They had to throw him out at first. One and 1. Buckner has 2 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 hits, no runs. 2-2 to count to Andre with Matt Kemp on deck. So the Dodgers had a leadoff double by Kemp in the third, couldn't get him home. Leadoff double by Hudson here in the fourth, and because of Reynolds, they can't get him home. And ball 3. 3-2 to Andre. Foul back. Andre with a half a dozen home runs, but of late that has disappeared. He's gone 23 games straight without a home run, and he had just 1 in his last 35 games. Hitting .254. 3-2. Got him. Fastball inside part of the plate. Great pitch. So the Dodgers waste another leadoff double. And at the end of 4, it's 2-0 Arizona. Nothing in favor of Arizona. Tell you one thing, Billy Buckner has pitched exceptionally well. He has made 63 pitches. The Dodgers have had runners in scoring position, and they are 1-for-7. And remember, we were pointing out the difference, how the Dodgers hit very well as opposed to Arizona under those conditions. But for the moment, at least, the numbers have been reversed. Hiroki Kuroda now pitching to Josh Whitesell, Billy Buckner, and Felipe Lopez. Right. Whitesell doubled on a 3-2 count in the second inning to drive in the 2 runs. One ball and 1 strike. Kuroda had made 74 pitches coming into this inning. 1-1. And as he has been doing all night, he falls behind 2-1. Martin in a crouch, and Honeycutt and Torrey watching the proceedings. You know, you won't believe this if you've been watching the game. You saw Russell Martin lose a double on a great play by Reynolds in the second inning, and then saw him lose another one on another great play by Reynolds in the 4th inning. I will tell you what's so interesting about it, because Martin could not believe it. 2-2. Little ground ball to Loney. He'll do it himself. Last year, Mark Reynolds, the fellow you have seen tonight, made such dazzling plays at third base. Last year, he made 35 errors, the most in the major leagues by a lot. In fact, nobody else in the major league had as many as 24 errors, and there he is out there with 35. But boy, is he ever capable of making a great play, and he's turned in 2 tonight, and it's a big difference in the game. So here's Billy Buckner. Right. The rare time that Kuroda has gotten out in front. He has now reached 80 pitches, 80 of the 85. We'll see. Slap down the right field line, foul, out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. And down goes Buckner. So with 2 outs, 6 strikeouts for Kuroda, and now Honeycutt on the phone to the bullpen. Kuroda had 1 shaky inning. That was the second inning, where he made 32 pitches, walked 2, and gave up 2 doubles for 2 runs. Otherwise, he's been pitching exceptionally well. You'd never know he had that long layoff since April 6th. Down in the Dodger bullpen, the left-hander Brent Leach will get up and begin to throw. Also, Kuroda is due to bat third when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 5th. 1-1. Felipe Lopez, good all-around ball player. Two and one. Two runs, 3 hits for the D-backs. Fly ball to center. Kemp is there. So really, all things considered, Kuroda turned in a heck of a job. He struck out 6, and he finishes retiring the last 6 in a row, although he walks off losing 2-0. It would appear that Hiroki Kuroda has gone as far as he can go for tonight. Joe Torre said 80 to 85 pitches, and he made 86, which is a pretty good cutoff number, isn't it? Also, his first start since April the 6th, and he struck out a half a dozen. Though Kuroda will give way to a pinch hitter and then Brent Leach. Corey Wade now gets up instead of Brent Leach. The Leach sits down and Wade tunes up, and the batter is Matt Kemp. Ball one. Kemp doubled in the 3rd inning, just inside the chalk and down into the corner, but the Dodgers left him at 3rd. Right. Meanwhile, very quietly, Billy Buckner has turned in a terrific job, leading 2-0. 2-1 the count. Of course, Buckner has been saved twice by Mark Reynolds at 3rd base. Three and 1 the count to Matt Kemp. Matt batting .309. Waiting on deck, Juan Castro. 3-2. And Kemp striking out. That would be strikeout number 4 for Billy Buckner. 1 away. And Castro coming up. I think that was that knuckle curveball. The bottom just dropped out of that thing. 4 strikeouts, no walks. Infield single and 2 doubles. Castro grounded to third. That was in the 3rd inning. And a strike. Out on deck is pitcher Eric Milton. Though Milton will be the batter for Kuroda. Fly ball to right. And we have 2 down. The only thing somewhat amazing to see Milton coming up, you would think if Joe was going to use a pitcher to bat for Kuroda, they'd use Randy Wolf. So we'll see what Milton does with the bat. Randy's already been used as a pinch hitter. He's 0 for 1.
Eric Milton.
Milton is 0 for 5 and has struck out twice. So we shall see. Little ground ball to short. Up with it is J.D. Drew. Plenty of time to throw him out. And that will be that in the 5th inning. So at the end of 5, D-backs 2, Dodgers nothing. To stay in 1955 in a game against the Braves, hit 3 home runs in a game. 1955, you may remember, he hit 42 home runs, led the Dodgers to the pennant and their only World's Championship for the borough of Brooklyn. Long before we ever thought that avocados had to do with guacamole, it was the pride of Fallbrook, an avocado farmer by the name of Duke Snyder. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, I remember Duke was talking about avocados in a farm. And back in Brooklyn, we thought, avocados? Well, what do you do with avocados? Well, we came out here and found out now I can't live without guacamole. See. 6th inning. And Corey Wade will pick up for Hiroki Kuroda. Corey's numbers 0-3, ERA of 5. Remember, he's had I guess you'd call it a balky shoulder, little tendonitis. I don't mean there's anything wrong with him now, but he's had it in the past. Strike. Gerardo Parra, who is 0 for 1. Grounded out and walked, then Upton and Drew. Good breaking ball off speed. No balls, 2 strikes. Foul tipped, held by Martin, and down goes Parra. Strikeout number 1 for Wade. Remember, Hiroki Kuroda had struck out 6. 7 in a row retired, and the batter will be Justin Upton, who struck out and hit into a double play. High fly ball to deep right field. Ethier to the track at the wall to make the catch. So that's 8 in a row as Upton just missed hitting one out. It's still 2-0 in favor of the D-backs. He didn't do it that time, but watching Upton go back to the dugout, he almost got into a fight the other day with David Ross. Remember the former Dodger catcher? Upton has a habit of being very cool. I mean really cool. And playing against David, he flipped his bat, and Ross felt that, look at him talking to his helmet. Yeah, this game will do that to you. I mean, when you wind up talking to your helmet, yeah. It's a maddening game. Well, I've heard stories. Professional golfers hit themselves in the head with a putter. There was a golfer, Lefty Stackhouse. He used to get so mad, he would tie his putter to the bumper of his car and drag it on the road. High fly ball to deep right field. And there is Ethier putting it away. So no dragging your putter if you want to talk to your helmet, as long as the helmet doesn't talk back to you. It's 2-0 D-backs. And Josh Whitesell got a pitch right there and made the most of it. Doubles into the right field corner. Runners were going 3-2 with 2 outs. So even though Ethier slipped, both men would have scored. And so far, Whitesell is the difference. The man from Redlands, went to school at Loyola Marymount, has the key hit. as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-0 Arizona. Juan Pierre, Mark Loretta, and then Orlando Hudson. Juan Pierre grounded out and singled to short. Dodgers have not been shut out at home. They've only been shut out once on the road. That was in Chicago. 1 ball and 1 strike to Juan Pierre. All eyes on Billy Buckner, the boy out of Conyers, Georgia. 2-1 the count to Pierre. Buckner, 25 years old. He'll be 26 the end of August. Line drive into left field, base hit. The Parra gets it back in, and Pierre now is 2 for 3. He continues his phenomenal hitting.
Number 5, Mark Loretta.
Pierre had 11 for 33 on the road. He's had, with that base hit, he has 2 hits tonight, and Pierre has now registered 6 straight multi-hit games. He has 8 in his last 12 games and 11 in his last 17. Juan Pierre. Now he can shake him up, of course, with Loretta, Hudson, and Loney checking in at the plate. Pierre has stolen 10 and then stole number 11 in the 3rd inning. Bluffs and a strike. Loretta checking with Larry Boa. Among other things with Loretta, you could certainly put a play on. 25 pinch hitting appearances. He has struck out twice. Now, of course, starting at 3rd base. Oh, hit down to Drew. He's on the bag. That was a double play right out of the book. So the little ground ball to Stephen Drew, and it's a 6-3 DP. And just like that, 2 down. So the batter will be Orlando Hudson.
Second baseman, number 13.
Dodgers have gotten a leadoff man on in 3 of the 6 innings, and they've been unable to do anything about it. Kemp doubled in the 3rd. He got as far as 3rd. Hudson doubled opening the 4th. He got as far as 3rd. Pierre singles opening up the 6th. He's back in the dugout. So Hudson 1 for 2. And ball 1. Arizona got 2 in the 2nd inning. Whitesell doubled in. Reynolds and Montero, who had walked, and that's it. Kuroda pitched very well, allowing only the 2 runs, and Billy Buckner has just been dynamite. 2 out in the 6th. He's leading 2-0. He's shut the Dodgers down thus far on 4 hits. In there, 3-1. Buckner in his young career has had all of 2 major league victories until he won 1 earlier this year. So he's won 3, and he now walks Hudson with 2 out, and that'll bring up James Loney. That is also the first walk that he has allowed.
First baseman number 7, James Loney.
James Loney, couple of ground balls to 2nd and short. James 0 for 2. D-backs 2 runs, 3 hits. Dodgers no runs, 4 hits. Ball one. The name Stottlemyre ring a bell for you? The great Mel Stottlemyre, who was not only a marvelous pitcher but was the Yankees pitching coach for many years. Then there was Todd Stottlemyre, who had a magnificent career. And you're looking at Mel Stottlemyre Jr., who was the pitching coach for Arizona. Orlando Hudson 4 for 4 in stolen bases, and he's visiting with Josh Whitesell. Of course, you get the feeling that Orlando visits with everybody, and of course he was with the D-backs for 3 years, so he knows everybody. Off the plate, 2-0 the count to Loney, with Russell Martin on deck. And a strike. 2-1. Loney checking with Boa. James, as we mentioned earlier, has walked as many times as he has struck out. So not a bad player if you want to put a play on. On the corner, 2-2. Buckner with marvelous control has walked only one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Way outside. So if nothing else, you know Hudson goes 3-2 with 2 down. Montero keeping everybody in the game, signaling to the infield. And Russell Martin, who could easily be 2 for 2, has been robbed twice by Mark Reynolds on deck. Hudson goes, and it is ball 4. So with 2 out, Buckner walks 2, and Mel Stottlemyre Jr. going out to the mound. Todd Stottlemyre had quite a career, so the whole family has been very active, although Mel was not the player that his father or brother turned in their years. For instance, Todd came up with the Blue Jays 20 years ago, and he's been with the D-backs for the last 4 years. But Mel came from behind a desk. So did A.J. Hinch. You know, Hinch, before he became manager, was director of player personnel, and Stottlemyre was one of his aides as far as the organizational pitching coach. And now Hinch is on the steps talking to Kirk Gibson. 2 on, 2 out. Mark Reynolds near the line, and a check swing foul. I mean, considering the 2 plays that Reynolds made, diving towards the line to take a ground ball away, and then diving to short hop, though he has taken 2 doubles away from Martin. Left-hander Clay Zavada begins to throw now in the D-backs bullpen. 0-1. Breaking ball drops in nicely. 0-2. On deck, Andre Ethier, so Zavada would appear to be getting ready for him. 2 out, 2 on, 0-2 to Martin. Got him. Breaking ball does it. Boy, what a game. Billy Buckner is turning in. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of 6, 2-0, D-backs. Reynolds versus this one. That was on Russell Martin in the second inning. Now take a look at another one. So Martin robbed of 2 doubles and at least 1 run batted in. And Mark Reynolds is the guy who will also be leading off here in the 7th inning. Reynolds walked, scored a run, and struck out. Game 1 of the 3-game series tomorrow night. It'll be Randy Wolf and Dan Harron. And then Wednesday night, Chad Billingsley and John Garland. And then the Phillies come to town, and Cole Hamels will be on the mound for Game 1. Two runs, 3 hits for Arizona. In the second inning with 1 out, Reynolds and Montero walked. Young struck out, and Josh Whitesell doubled to right. And that's it. Those are the only 2 runs in the game. All right, 0-1. The runs came back in the second inning. Wow, Martin got that one right in the mask. 0-2. Reynolds hitting .266, 13 home runs, 30 runs batted in. On deck, Miguel Montero. One ball and 2 strikes. Because he strikes out a lot, Reynolds a year ago in spring training was really devoted to trying to get deeper into the count. You've heard of that. They've always advised hitters. But finally, Reynolds gave it up. He said, I've got to stick with what got me here. If I get a hanging slider, whatever, first pitch, I'm going after it. And pays the price. Though he strikes out twice tonight, that is the 10th man in a row retired by Dodger pitching since Drew singled opening up the 4th inning. It's a second strikeout for Corey Wade. 8 D-backs have bitten the dust, and Miguel Montero walked and flied to left coming up. And ball 1. Montero was a terrific pinch hitter for Arizona 2 years ago. 3 pinch hit home runs, 7 pinch hit RBIs. Up there hacking away right now. In March, his father died quite unexpectedly in Venezuela, though Miguel had to fly home. Sad trip. So Corey Wade in relief of Hiroki Kuroda. And line drive foul down the right field line. Still 1-2. You ever heard of Bill Plummer? Well, if you haven't, it's understandable. He was a backup catcher. The catcher he backed up was Johnny Bench. Well, he didn't play very much. Well, anyway, Plummer had a lot to do with Montero's development in the minor leagues. Foul? No. Not fouled, got away. Though Montero is safely aboard on a pitch that appeared to be in the dirt. We'll assume strikeout wild pitch. Take another look. down and dirty off the heel of Martin's glove. Then he lost sight of where it was for the moment. Tried to get him, couldn't do it. So that's what it is. Strikeout, wild pitch. And the batter will be Chris Young with Montero at first. Now Young has to be seething. He is struggling. Hasn't hit a lick on the road. Hasn't done anything here. Struck out twice tonight. And bunts, foul. 0-1. Chris will be 26 the 5th of September. We told you about the fact that he shattered his wrist, and that really put him down the pole as far as the draft was concerned, though he went in the 16th round. Shattered bat, ground ball to third. 1, too late for 2. So it's a force play. 5-4, and that'll bring up Josh Whitesell. Went down to get it, shattered the bat in a lot of pieces. Loretta got one. Hudson did his best to get it over there, but Young runs very well. But the wild pitch on the strikeout has kept the inning alive, and that'll bring up Josh Whitesell with Young at first. Young has stolen 4 out of 6. You'd expect him to steal a lot more, but he hasn't been able to get on base. And the old expression, you can't steal first base. But we all know he can run. He had 27 stolen bases 2 years ago. So Whitesell double to right on a 3-2 pitch to drive in 2. And then grounded out in the 5th inning. On deck is the pitcher Billy Buckner. 2-0 in favor of Arizona. The 2 runs came way back in the 2nd inning. Ball blocked nicely by Martin. 1 ball and no strikes. Ball loose in right field. They had to retrieve it, so timeout for the moment. Josh Whitesell was the Diamondbacks minor league player of the year last year. And that's in the dirt, and easily going to second is Young. So it's another wild pitch. Corey Wade, with 2 wild pitches in the inning, has now made 3 this year. So with 2 out, let's see what they do with Whitesell. First base open. The pitcher is on deck. However, A.J. Hinch has a couple of fellas thrown in the pen. Are they going to walk him? Looks that way. Yep. So now Hinch will see that Whitesell gets the intentional walk. He has Zavada and Gutierrez. Gutierrez, a right-hander in the bullpen. But the big question is Billy Buckner. All right, in a moment, ball 4. And that's going to be off of Buckner. Hinch has decided to get a good 6 innings out of his starter. And Ryan Roberts is going to come up and pinch hit.
For Buckner, number 14, Ryan Roberts.
Ryan Roberts out of Fort Worth, Texas, 5'11", about 190. He went to the University of Texas. Interesting, too, what Arizona does with or without Ryan Roberts. When he starts, the D-backs are 6-4. When he doesn't start, they're 16-25. Roberts, and you can understand how valuable he'll be as Buckner cools off in the dugout now. Chad Tracy talking to him. Roberts is listed as a second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, outfielder, and catcher. Okay. Obviously not a good pitcher, and a strike. When he was at the University of Texas, he was a big man on campus, so he was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. And like so many, certainly basketball players, he has a lot of tattoos, and that's in the dirt. That's going to be the third wild pitch of the inning by Corey Wade, and the D-backs now will have runners at second and third and 2 out. So 3 wild pitches really puts him in a hole. Big breaking ball. Martin tries to capture it properly, and it just kicks away on him. So you have Young at third, Whitesell at second with 2 out, 2-0 in favor of Arizona, and Roberts waiting. And ball 2. We say that he has a lot of tattoos. The one that might be the most inspirational on Ryan Roberts is on his left arm. He has his initials of RR underneath. Only the strong survive. You can see a little tattoo peeking out from underneath the wristband. Did you ever see as many tattooed people outside of the circus with that Denver basketball team? They mustn't have a drop of ink in Colorado. Wow. 3-1 the count. Whoa, almost threw that thing away. A nice save by Martin. So in the inning, there have been 2 strikeouts, a force play. There have been 3 wild pitches and 2 walks. So the bases are loaded with 2 out, and Wade now is faced with Felipe Lopez, and Honeycutt faced with an emergency. Lopez grounded to short, struck out, fly to center. Young, Whitesell, and the pinch hitter Roberts. Line drive, just foul. Boy, was that close. And of course, with 2 out, that could easily have been a 3-run double. So Felipe back to hit, batting .309. So the bases loaded. Young, Whitesell, and Roberts. 0-1 the count to Felipe Lopez. Big breaking ball. 1-1. He's giving Russell Martin quite a workout behind the plate. Corey had walked 7 and struck out 10 coming into the game. Fastball. He hits 92 on the gun. 1-2 the count to Felipe Lopez. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th, Ethier, Kemp, and Castro. Felipe with 4 slams in his career. And he's going to hit a soft line drive, backhanded by Hudson. Wasn't hit hard, but it almost got through. So Buckner goes out of the game leading 2-0, but There was a basket left out there on the base paths, and now the crowd is asked to stand for the singing of God Bless America.
Tonight we welcome a singer and actress. She first owned the stage at the age of 11.
Attention, please.
Bottom of the seventh inning, 2-0 in favor of the D-backs. They scored the 2 runs in the second inning. Stephen Drew doubled and was picked off second base. Reynolds walked, Montero walked, Young struck out. With 2 down, the count went to 3-2 to young Josh Whitesell. He doubled to right to drive in 2, and that's it. Meanwhile, Billy Buckner went a strong 6. Now the left-hander, Carl Zabata, is brought in. He's out of Illinois, went to Southern Illinois University, and looks like, well, he looks like the kind of a guy who would foreclose your mortgage. I mean, when you look at that Simon Legree mustache, he'll be 25. One ball and 1 strike. He was pitching in the independent Southern Illinois minors. last June. Zavada will bat in Reynolds' spot, and Ryan Roberts, who appeared as the pinch hitter, is taking over at third base. 2-1. Ball 3. Mark Reynolds, who had been at third base, moves over to first. And a drive to center coming up is Young. So Ethier goes to center, 1 away, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. If you're keeping score, you can put Zavada in Whitesell's position, number 8. Two to nothing in favor of the D-backs. Bottom of the 7th, 1 out. Matt Kemp doubled and struck out, 1 for 2. And that's hit to left field for a base hit. So Matt Kemp with a double and a single, 2 for 3. And the batter will be Juan Castro. So the Dodgers have 5 hits. Kemp has 2 of them, held on by Mark Reynolds. Montero going out to talk to Zavada. Juan Castro grounded to third, fly to right, 0 for 2. And now A.J. Hinch is going to the bullpen. Juan Gutierrez has been pitching very, very well. So Zavada, who gives up the single with 1 out, comes out. And they go to the pen, and we'll be right back. AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. With Arizona leading the Dodgers 2-0. The Dodgers now with Matt Kemp at first and 1 out. Rafael Furcal pinch hitting for Castro. And Casey Blake is on deck to bat for Wade. And that's ball 1. Juan Gutierrez out of Venezuela. 6'2", 210. Originally signed by the Astros. Basically fastball, curveball, slider, and a change. Been pitching well of late. And that's going to go down the line foul and out of play. Rafael Furcal checking in, hitting .245 and .234, batting left-handed. He is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Furcal during the last road trip hit .333, 4 for 12. 1-1. 1-2. And looking at Gutierrez's numbers, he is 1-2 with an ERA of 3, and his strikeout to walk ratio just about 3-1. And almost threw it away. Mark Reynolds, who made 2 marvelous plays at third base, now makes a great play on what would have been a throw down the right field line. Reynolds a handy guy to have around. 1-2. And Kemp bluffs, ground ball up the middle, base hit. Kemp to second, will hold on. So Rafael Furcal comes off the bench to ground a single up the middle. Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard with 1 out. A.J. Hinch hooking Buckner, then Zavada, and now Gutierrez gives up, and here comes Casey Blake to bat for Wade. Casey with a tight hamstring, and the Dodgers being very careful with it, and well they should. Hitting .400 since the 7th of May. One out. Breaking ball, strike. Casey had 3 doubles and 5 RBIs on the road trip. He hasn't gone back-to-back starts without a hit since first day in May. Leads the team in home runs with 9. 0-1. Fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gutierrez hits 95 on the gun. He's 6'2", 210, 25 years old. He's 26 in July. Signed as a free agent by the Astros 9 years ago. 1-1. Fastball missed. So he's behind now, 2-1. Gutierrez picked up his first career save against San Diego just a few days ago. Picked up his first win of the year against the Giants. Kemp and Furcal, the tying runs out there. After a good fastball, he comes back with an off-speed breaking ball, and the count 2-2. He has held right-hand batters to a .214 batting average. Two and two. And down goes Casey Blake. So 2 out in the 7th inning. Half a dozen Dodgers have struck out tonight.
Number 9, Juan Pierre.
And the batter now is Juan Pierre. Pierre is 2 for 3. So Blake bites the dust. And here comes Pierre. Grounded out. Single to short. And single to left. Stole a base back in the 3rd inning. Juan Pierre enjoying yet another multi-hit game. 6 straight. And that got away. That really messed up Montero. Whatever that pitch was, it didn't look like the pitch he expected. 1 ball and no strike. So the pitch seemed to sail and cross him up. He just didn't quite know what to do. They're going to call it a pass ball, but obviously the catcher was really messed up on that pitch. So the Dodgers get a big break. Tying runs now at 2nd and 3rd with 2 out. 1 ball and no strikes. Fastball, but it's a chopper to the right side, and Lopez ends the rally. So for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits, leaving runners at 2nd and 3rd. And at the end of 7, it's still 2-0 Arizona. Dodgers make 2 moves. Rafael Furcal, who batted for Castro, stays in the game at shortstop. And the Dodgers, having batted for Wade with Casey Blake, bring in left-hander Brent Leach. So the Dodgers finding it very difficult to get on the board tonight. They've been stopped by Buckner, Zavada, and Gutierrez so far. So Brent Leach will now pick up the burden of trying to just keep Arizona quiet. For Brent Leach, coming in 1-0, ERA 4.7, strikeout to walk ratio 2-1, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks. And Brent will be pitching to Gerardo Parra, then Justin Upton and Stephen Drew. Gerardo Parra grounded out, walked, and struck out, 0 for 2. 310, but he's the one with the remarkable numbers. If there's somebody on base ahead of him, he's hitting over 550. And a strike. Parr's the fellow we told you about, with runners in scoring position, had a batting average of 706. Out of sight. One ball and 1 strike. Fastball and flared into left center. Base hit. Pierre over to get it back in. So Parra, a leadoff single here in the 8th inning. You know, Sunday join the Dodgers at the beach, Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium. You can enjoy unlimited barbecue fresh off the grill, a Dodger beach bag, private beach party, oceanfront experience with a bird's eye view of the game. And for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. So Parra, a single left. And here is Justin Upton, who will forever be remembered for talking to his helmet in the dugout. Ball one. If you were not with us, that was something. He had struck out, hit into a double play, fly to right, fly deep to right, then came in and held his helmet and had a conversation. 1 ball and no strikes. Here, take a look at this. Now, helmet, listen to me. I want you to know I really care. I'm not going to smash you and throw you on the ground. Wouldn't you love to know what he said? 1 ball and no strikes. In there. Justin has been a blazing hot hitter for the last month, hitting over 370, and his batting average is 324. 1-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Guillermo Mota begins to loosen up. Parra at first base is 0 for 2 in stolen bases. Two and 1. Almost got him leaning. Almost got him. So I think they might have been thinking hit and run on that 2-1 count. Lorenzo Bundy over to talk to him. Watch him lean right. And just did make it. Quick tag on the hand by Loney as well. Looked like Leach was concerned with Parra and lost the strike zone on that pitch. So 2-1, you had the feeling he might be leaning. Now 3-1 with Upton. Upton, however, has struck out 48 times. So let's see if they want to play run and hit with him. The answer is no. So 3-2 to Justin Upton with a runner at first, nobody out in the 8th, and the Dodgers down 2-0. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th, Loretta, Hudson, and Loney. Well, now he's got reason to talk to his helmet now. He has struck out twice and grounded into a double play.
Shortstop, number 6.
That's 10 D-backs to strike out tonight. And the batter will be Stephen Drew. Now let's see what happens to that good old helmet. We are not talking to our helmet. Big curveball for a strike to Stephen Drew, who is double, single, fly to right. 2 for 3. Picked off second following his double way back in the 2nd inning. He now has hit safely in 7 straight. and that's going to go to the backstop. Remember, Wade had 3 wild pitches in the 7th inning. Now Leach has one getaway. So the Dodgers rather wild and woolly here. It'll be a wild pitch once again. Martin unable to push it out in front of the plate. For Leach, that would be his 2nd wild pitch. So Drew now has a runner to pick up. Parra. Breaking ball drops in nicely. 1-2. Stephen Drew, the younger brother of J.D. They had a middle brother, Tim, who pitched in the Indians organization. Stephen is the youngest. Check swing, and that's going to go to the backstop. Wow. There'll be another wild pitch to Leach. 5 wild pitches for the Dodgers. Wade and now Leach. 5. So now Joe said make it 4, meaning with Reynolds coming up, 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
First baseman, number 27, Mark Reynolds.
So 1st and 3rd with 1 away, they bring the infield up. And Torrey is going out to the mound, so that's going to be over for Leach. We wondered what the 4 was when Joe held up his hand. No doubt. It meant, among other things, I'm going to the mound, take your time, and I'm bringing a hook with me. So we've had 5 wild pitches in an inning and a third. Rather remarkable. So with runners at the corners for the D-backs, a downcast Leach takes off, and we'll be back. Arizona leading the Dodgers 2-0. It's been a tough night for Russell Martin, and yet in looking at it, it would appear as if he's doing everything perfectly, trying to block them, but the pitches are so hard and they explode off the heel of his catcher's mitt. I mean, they're not just getting by. Look at this one. I mean, that thing went up off the screen. Each time Russell trying to get the glove to keep the play in front of him, and each time the same pitch in the dirt, exploding off the mitt. So in a game that has seen 5 wild pitches in an inning and a third, Dodgers in trouble, down 2-0. But here's Mark Reynolds, 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Yeah, Parra at 3rd, Drew at 1st, and Guillermo Mota trying to shut him down. Mota, by the way, has 2 wild pitches. Reynolds hitting .265. Mark with 13 home runs, 30 runs batted in. And promptly bangs it down the left field line. Foul ball. So Reynolds comes back. Parra goes back to third. Drew to first. 2 runs, 4 hits for the D-backs. No runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Parra at third. Drew at first. 0-1 to Mark Reynolds. Reynolds walked, scored a run, made 2 dazzling plays at third and a pretty good play at first. He's also struck out twice. 405 strikeouts, 313 games. 1-1. Phillies are coming. They just nailed the Padres tonight, 5-3. Chase Utley 2 for 4 with a home run. They'll be here starting Thursday night. Ball 2. And ground ball to third. They go to second for 1. To first, not in time. So the run comes in to make it 3-0 Arizona. On a play like that, you look back and you say to yourself, it might have been a double play with Casey Blake. Mark Loretta does not have the strongest arm nor the quickest release. Reynolds runs well, but still, the ball wasn't hit very hard. But he got it down there, but it was all over by then. Reynolds had crossed the bag by plenty. So the run comes in, not that Loretta could do much about it. And a foul ball off the bat of Montero. 0-1 to count. Miguel walked and scored a run in the second inning. Flied to left in the fourth. Struck out and reached on a wild pitch in the seventh. And for good measure, remember, it certainly looked like he was crossed up. There goes the runner to steal. Yep. So Reynolds doing everything he can to torment the Dodgers. He is 11 for 14 in stolen bases. Straight steal, looking back, and he's in there. So 0-2 the count to Miguel Montero. Little roll to Deloney, and that'll be that. However, the wild pitch set up the run. In fact, there were 2 of them. And at the end of 7.5, D-backs 3, Dodgers nothing. It was the night that marked the return of Hiroki Kuroda. He had not pinched a big league game since April the 6th, and he did a good job. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, the key with the 3 walks, but he struck out a half a dozen and finished up retiring the last 9 in a row that he faced. Though Kuroda would appear to be back in good form, but he was outpitched by Billy Buckner, and now the Dodgers are still looking for a run, down 3-0. Mark Loretta flied to right, flied to center, grounded into a double play. Dodgers have out hit the D-backs, but that's not a payoff window. Arizona 3 runs, 4 hits. Dodgers no runs, 6 hits. Mark batting .304. Fights off a good fastball. 1-2. Dodgers had Matt Kemp reach third in the 3rd inning. They had Hudson reach third in the 4th inning. They had Kemp reach third on a pass ball in the 7th, but they have not scored. Little ground ball to Lopez, and 1 away. You know, the Dodgers and the D-backs Wednesday night at 7:10, and the first 20,000 fans in attendance take home an individually numbered Orlando Hudson the Cyclist poster. Compliments of KLOS. Commemorate Hudson's opening day cycle and visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. And here's the man himself. Orlando grounded out, double to right. They left him at 3rd. Walked, they left him at 2nd. And a strike. 0-1. Oh, and 2. Orlando hitting .333. He has 3 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Down he goes. 2 down in the 8th inning. Rather disappointed crowd. The paid attendance tonight 32,304. But I'll tell you what kind of a night it's been for this crowd so far. How'd you like to come home and somebody say, how was the game? And you say, well, I saw 5 wild pitches. I mean, that doesn't get it. Here's Loney. 2 ground balls and a walk. Dodgers with 6 hits. Pierre has 2. Kemp has 2. Hudson has 1. And for call, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter, has 1. Strike. On deck, Russell Martin. 3-0 Arizona, bottom of the 8th. Remember the note we gave you way back at the very start of the game? How the Dodgers had a great May. They were 20-9. And how they usually have a bad June. Not a very good way to start tonight. Two and 1. Juan Gutierrez trying to hold on to this one for Billy Buckner, who did such a good job for 6 innings and went out for a pinch hitter. 2-1. Ball 3. Just to conclude that thought about June, Dodgers have not had a winning record in June since 2003. Fly ball, that'll wind up in Young's glove. And the Dodgers go very quietly, faced now with the thought that they're going to be shut out for the first time this year at home. And at the end of 8, 3-0 D-backs. As we go to the ninth inning. By the way, the 5 wild pitches that we saw tonight with Corey Wade in the 7th and then Brent Leach in the 8th, those 5 wild pitches sets a record for Los Angeles Dodgers team, and it ties a franchise record going all the way back to 1918 in a game the Brooklyn Dodgers played in St. Louis. So for Russell Martin, it has been a thoroughly forgettable game, trying to handle 5 that just appeared to be impossible to slow down. For Joe Torre, of course, in his day as a catcher, he knows the problems. So we go to the 9th. Chris Young will lead it off. Young tonight has struck out twice, hit into a force play. Chris batting just .175, and his road batting average 0 for 3 tonight. He has 5 hits in 56 at bats on the road. And that's a foul ball for Martin. Coming down is Loretta, and it's Loretta for the catch. Boy, that thing was up there. So Young fouls out. 1 away in the 9th inning.
Your pinch, please, for the Diamondbacks. Pinch hitting.
Augie Ojeda is now coming up. He will bat for Gutierrez. So Augie hitting .260. Ojeda was born in Los Angeles, lives in Southgate the last we checked, went to the University of Tennessee. In September 2 years ago, Orlando Hudson was hurt, and it looked like Arizona was really in trouble. And all Augie did was come off the bench. He hit .341 the last couple of weeks, and then in the postseason against the Cubs, he hit .444. He's been with the D-backs just for 2.5 years. Strike. Augie was originally drafted by the Orioles, and his name is Octavio, but he was in Little League, and his coach couldn't pronounce Octavio, so it turned out to be Augie, and it stuck. And he hits it to the gap. Kemp will not be able to get it. He can cut it off. In fact, he can't pick it up. Ethier picks it up, and Augie is on his way into third with a head-first dive. So Augie Ojeda comes up with his first triple in the gap, and with 1 out, the batter will be Ryan Roberts. Perfectly placed. Kemp tried to come up with it, couldn't do it. I can't believe they're going to give Kemp an error. Holy mackerel. They're calling a double, error 8. Okay. I mean, Kemp on a dead run trying to come up with the ball. So a runner at third with 1 out. Dodger infield is up. And here's Ryan Roberts. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Clayton Kershaw loosening up. Clayton figures to pitch on Friday. Crack bat, ground ball to third. Loretta holding Ojeda and takes care of Roberts. So 2 down. Ojeda still at third, and Felipe Lopez. Lopez in the leadoff role is 0 for 4. Grounded to short, struck out, flied to center. Soft line drive that was speared by Orlando Hudson in the 7th inning. If that ball goes through, D-backs would have picked up 2 more. They lead 3-0 as it is. And a strike. By the way, when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, they have Martin, Ethier, and Kemp. If anybody gets on, for call. Oh, and 2. Augie Ojeda standing at third with 2 out. 0-2 the count. Poked foul out of play. Though Lopez still there. Gerardo Parra on deck. Oh, and 2. Ball 1. Fouled away. Dodgers have been involved in 4 shutouts. They're 3-1. They have not been shut out at home this year, but they're faced with that prospect when they go to the bottom of the 9th, down at least 3-0. Ojeda at third, coming down the line. 1-2. And line drive at Loney. Whoa, was that hit? Oh. Lopez standing at home plate. Can't hit it much harder than that, but right at Loney. So here they come. Martin, Ethier, and Kemp. 3-0 Arizona. Buried, not under the sea, but they trail the Dodgers by 12.5. Augie Ojeda, who pinch hit the double, is taking over at third base. So we've had Reynolds, Roberts, and now Ojeda, and Tony Pena coming out of the pen to do the pitching in the 9th inning. Interesting to look at the Arizona bullpen. The last 4 games, the bullpen's earned run average is 1.08. The previous 4 games, the earned run average of the bullpen was over 10. So which bullpen shows up tonight? So far, it's the good one. Russell Martin is 0 for 3, could easily be 2 for 3, except for Mark Reynolds, and that's a strike. Russell hitting .267, 20 RBIs. Foul back, 0-2. Tony Peña is the classic player to be named later. When he worked out in the Dominican, he worked out under the name Adriano Rosario, but that wasn't his name. They found out later his name is Ramon Antonio Peña Paulino. Anyway, here he is. 0-2 to Russell Martin. Tony is 6'1", 220, 27 years old. And down goes Martin. So one away in the ninth inning. Dodgers had some chances.
16, Andre Ethier.
Kemp led off the third inning with a double and got as far as third. Hudson led off the fourth with a double, got as far as third. Kemp, with one out, singled and got as far as third. Hudson got as far as second. That's fouled away. Ethier has struck out twice and flied to center. Andre hitting .251. Tony Peña, 3-1 strikeouts to walks. 0-1. Now he has Ethier in the hole, 0-2. Tomorrow night, game 2 of the 3-game series, Randy Wolf and Dan Herron. Wednesday night, as we see Dan Herron getting ready, Chad Billingsley and John Garland will be pitching Wednesday night. 0-2. Check swing, did he? No, he didn't, says Gary Davis. 1-2 to Andre Ethier. On deck, Matt Kemp. And line drive, base hit to left down the line. Parra has to come over to get it, and Ethier down 3-0 is not going to take any chances. So a single to left, and the batter will be Matt Kemp.
After center fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
A.J. Hinch at 35 at the helm of the Arizona Ball Club. As we mentioned way back, the youngest major league manager that we can think of was Bucky Harris. Way back in 1924, managed the Washington Senators. Bucky was 27 years old. In the dirt, nice save by Montero. That could easily have been a wild pitch. Matt Kemp against Peña, 1 for 3. Ethier was 1 for 7 with a walk. Dodgers with 7 hits and no runs. Matt batting .311. Boy, good fastball. That was 94. So Peña can sure hurry that thing up to the plate. Two balls and 1 strike. The hitters know with Peña, he'll get a 4-seam fastball anywhere from 93 up. Hard slider and a changeup. Ethier at first with 1 out. Fastball strike, 1-2. He hits 95. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Just missed. Waiting on deck, Rafael for a call, who came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and stayed in. Three and two. That's going to be a one-hopper off the glove of Lopez, and Efi will go to third. So the Dodgers have runners at first and third with 1 out. Rafael for call coming up. That ball seemed to fool Lopez a little bit. He just did tick it with his glove.
Dodgers shortstop
right
number 15, Rafael for
so it'll be a base hit for Kemp. First and third, 1 out. And here comes for call Jamie Hoffman. And now they're going to give Lopez an error. Well, it fooled him enough to charge him with the error. So first and third, 1 away. And here is for call. Single coming off the bench in the 7th inning. Rolled one up the middle. In the dirt. Nice save by Montero. He saved quite a few. This could have been a record for wild pitches since Dodger pitchers committed 5. If Montero hadn't blocked so many, he would have been out of sight tonight. Russell Martin, in looking at the tape, did everything humanly possible, and the pitches just exploded out of the dirt. So for call, hitting .249, home run, 10 runs batted in, 1 for 7 against Pena. Rafael hitting .277 right, .234 left. 1-0. And ball 2. When the game started, we were pointing out the huge difference between Arizona and the Dodgers. With runners in scoring position, the Dodgers were out hitting Arizona almost 100 points. But in tonight's game, the Diamondbacks 1 for 9 with 3 RBIs. Dodgers 1 for 10 with no RBIs. That's a strike. 2-1. Jamie Hoffman out on deck as a pinch hitter. And ball 3. Crowd of 32,304. Two, good fastball. In fact, that fastball was clocked at 97 and it was down. You talk about the high hard one. That was the low hard one. Three and two. Ground ball to the hole, base hit. Scoring is Ethier. Stopping is Kemp at second. The Dodgers get on the board, and they now trail 3-1 with 1 out. 9th inning, and Hoffman coming up now to bat for Mota. So for Call, a late starter is 2 for 2, and a run batted in. So it was a long time coming, but with 1 out in the 9th inning, the 4th hitter of the night knocks in the first run. So for Call visiting with Mariano Duncan, meanwhile, meeting at the mound. And Jamie Hoffman will be coming up. Hoffman is 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. He has a home run and 7 runs batted in. And that's rather remarkable. 7 runs batted in only 15 at-bats. So, Jamie, you made a brilliant defensive play in Chicago. Actually, you made 2, making a diving catch and then throwing the runner out at the plate. Now up there, 2 on, 1 out, 9th inning, 3-1 Arizona. 0-1. So he starts him with a slider. Inning with 1 out, Ethier single to left. Kemp's ground ball fooled Lopez for an error, and for Call's single picked up a run. 0-1. 0-2. So Jamie Hoffman following for Call as a pinch hitter. And Blake, for Call single coming off the bench. Blake struck out. Then for Call stayed in and single to drive in the run here in the 9th. And a fly ball to left field coming in and over in a hurry is Parra. Makes the catch, and Kemp was almost down to third and is able to beat the throw back. So Matt was in position to score had that ball dropped. So Hoffman, a fly ball. Nice play by Gerardo Parra to get way over there. And the batter now, Juan Pierre. Juan Pierre grounded twice to second base, single to short, and single to left. So Juan is 2 for 4. 2 for 4 against Pena in the past as well. So Kemp at second, for Call representing the tying run at first. 2 out. Fastball for a strike. Oh, and 1. And a line drive base hit. That will score Kemp, and Furcal is going to third, and the tying run is 90 feet away. Juan Pierre's 3rd hit of the night. Mark Loretta will be coming up. Dodgers pick up 2, but they need 1 more to get even. With 2 out in the 9th. The tying run is Rafael Furcal, and of course Pierre at first. Though you have a couple of rabbits out there, we'll see how the Dodgers play it. Down and dirty, and another save for Miguel Montero. That would have tied up the game. In the inning with one out, Ethier single left. Kemp reached on the error by Lopez. Bacall single to drive in Ethier. And Pierre a 2-out single to drive in Kemp. 2-0 the count to Mark Loretta. Orlando Hudson is on deck. It's been Buckner, Zavada, Gutierrez, and Pena. The young A.J. Hinch. 2-0. And a high fly ball to left field coming over is Parra. He will make the catch, and that's it. The Loretta fly ball, and the Dodgers come up a buck short.